Yeah, if I was going to cosplay one of my own characters, it'd probably be Go because we're closest. I'm not as tall as him. In fact, you'd probably be a better Go than I would. But it would probably be Go. But if I could cosplay any character, and I've been told that I should do this, is the Teddy Bomber from Cowboy Bebop. The whole time he's like, pay attention to me, and they're fighting. No, I'm serious, I'm a terrorist. They're like, yeah, whatever.
Well, I guess obviously I'd have to go as Bateau. You know?
What's the question?
The question was if you could cosplay any character that you've done, which one would it be?
Oh. Does it have to be an anime character?
Yes. Yes, because cosplay is not cosplay unless it's an anime.
Honey?
Or Captain Jackson.
What else could I ask?
Or Boba Fett. Jack's mom, or you get Boba Fett.
Oh, I don't like any of them.
What would you like to go as? If you could go as any character, it doesn't have to be animated.
Okay. Love me or leave me, little lamb, but don't just stand there. I'd go as... you know, every time I do a character, it's... I mean, it's like right now I'm getting ready to go and do Jacqueline Kennedy, and every time I do a character, I just love it. I love being a character and just meshing myself into the whole thing.
So who would you be?
I'd be whoever was the next role. The next role. I don't have a favorite. I love the exploration. I love finding. It's hard for me. I'm sorry. That's a bad question for me. Can I have a different question?
Once again, the second longest non-answer I've ever heard. Wow.
I think that if I was made to dress up as one of my characters, and it would have to be that probably because I don't know. It's hard to dress up and do the justice that it is in the show. Yeah. You know, but probably just because I had such a good time with her, Mako from Narumadaikon Brothers.
Yes! Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
I would give you money.
Yeah.
Is she scantily clad or something? Because
She's hilarious. Yes. And scantily clad. Yes.
Okay, based on the answer you gave, was there ever a character that you voiced that you just hated? Either hated the character or hated actually having to do it?
Yeah.
I knew that was coming.
When we first began doing ADR, we used to do all these projects from Asia. They were what we called chop sake movies. And they were chop sake because everybody's limbs were being chopped off. Awesome. No sex. Yeah, decapitation, no limbs, no, you know.
I watch those every Saturday morning, man.
Yeah, Cartoon Network. And anyhow, you'd scream all day long until you had no lungs left. And I hated those things. I mean, because they'd rip you up. Those were my least favorite characters.
I don't really have any. I mean, every character. No.
You're alone in this.
No, yeah.
No, you did.
Because I always try to, I pretty much enjoy most of the characters I do. The only difference that it makes for me really is who I'm working with. Yes. If the director's a pain in the ass, then it makes my time in the booth suck, and it's not fun for me. So if I'm not having fun, then it's not fun. So, but other than that, I mean, I try to do my best, and if I have a good director, it doesn't matter. We always have a good time.
Yes. Good. Yeah.
I'm going to go with that one.
Good answer.
Yeah, there's a couple times when I characters where they've got like 3 lines here, 3 lines there throughout a series, and every time I go in, it's been like 3 months since the last time I recorded. I don't have an idea of the character because there's not enough time to get in his head with his on-screen time. But he's recurring, so I have to be consistent. It's frustrating because I feel like, wait, who's this guy? What's he about? I don't know. Now I'm done. He's dying. Okay. But not hating, just a little frustrating from an acting perspective. Like, what am I be with
You know, that's really the truth. Just to build a little bit on what Richard said, you don't even realize how dependent you are upon the people that you're working with. But the experience from working with a director who has some experience and has at least a modicum of trust in their actor a little bit, and working with an engineer who really knows what they're doing and how to work Pro Tools and knows what those systems are capable of, that experience, as opposed to working with a director who maybe doesn't know how to relinquish a little bit of control, or an engineer that is very new and hasn't been trained to need the equipment, it's night and day. And it either makes for a really easy day or an extremely laborious day. Really laborious.
By the same token, there's a director whose initials remain nameless, not Richard, who used to do, and we've been making fun of it all weekend, you know, da-da-da-da-da-da.
His initials are Tom Weiner.
And he would direct like this, you know, kind of like.
Oh yeah, he said I came up with, because a lot of actors don't like
the rhythm method.
No, they don't like line readings, because basically when you give somebody a line reading, the actor's just basically impersonating the way you've delivered the line. So it takes away all the fun. And it's not organic anymore. The actor's not, it's not coming from an organic place. You're just basically imitating what the director's doing. And to me, it's not really good acting. So he would always give line readings to everyone, and everyone complained bitterly about this. So he finally came to me one day and said, "I came up with a great idea. I don't give line readings anymore. I say, no, say the line like this, da 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 da." So it's like you're doing the same thing, only you're not using the dialogue. So I said, well, that's a great idea.
Another thing was, he came, this was the only time I ever got fired from a voice job. This was, it was 20 some odd years ago. And he
Still
said,
bitter.
damn right. And he said, do the voice, Ellyn. I said, what voice? You know, the beautiful voice. I said, what beautiful voice?
Well, you're leaving a piece out. You auditioned.
Oh, I auditioned.
6 months ago.
No, it was 6 months prior.
And they did several takes.
And so I said, which voice? He said, the voice. I said, which voice? You know, the voice. And couldn't remember. Well, I've got to say, I changed the face of dubbing some years ago because I made it a necessity that from that point on, people had to use voice samples because from, you know, you audition and you don't remember what you come up with. And then 6 months later, they go, you got the job. So anyhow, Tom said, you don't remember the voice you did, you are fired. So I got fired, and it's years later.
Tom Weiner who's watching it on YouTube right now.
But anyhow,
flip the guy off, for God's sake.
Anyhow, I didn't say the name. I didn't say the name. But I think, why? Was it something we said?
Oh my God, we just lost the other half of our
But I think it's very, very important, and I'm so proud of this, that from that point on, it became very, very important, a necessity that you had the voice sample of the audition.
And I would just like to say we love and miss you, Tom, and I hope you're doing well wherever you are.
Yes.
All right, before...
After Ellyn flipped you off.
I didn't say Tom Weiner.
He just did.
Tom who?
Weiner?